don't like this realm. This realm sucks. You know, my realm sucks, but this realm also sucks. So, yeah, I'm done with the whole podcast thing. One episode, that was enough. I'm over it. I'd like to go back to my equally shitty. Well, no, it's my realm is less shitty than this realm, just by like this much. And I'd like to go back to my realm, because I don't like this realm. I'm done with this realm. It sucks. Hello. Nothing really. Oh my god. Ba 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 ba. Okay. Well, I'll just keep myself busy. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Yikes. Yeah, you got a bulb out there. You got a bulb out. I don't know if these work the same as Christmas lights, but you know, they say one bulb means the whole strand of lights is well, I'm no electrician, but yeah, these lights might be on their way out. I could go back to my realm, get the bulb. I think it's working there, you know, but you'd have to send me back to my realm. Uh-oh. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me, I'm playing with fire. You should probably send me back to my realm. I might destroy this one. Because I'm playing with fire. Hey, you! Yeah, hey, bud, what's up? What? Yes, of course, you. Who else would I be talking to? You're the only one standing there. Look, can you get me out of here? No, what do you mean, no? Look, I gotta get back to my own realm, dude. I got shit to do in my own realm, alright? Like, get a job, and pet my dog? Fuck, my life is boring. Look, but I still want to get out of here, okay? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead and... That's fine. That's brilliant. Turn back around. Ignore me. That's great. Fuck. In the still of the night, when the spells are all cast, it's time for the sorcerer to kick back and relax. The sorcerer's slumber. He hears a podcast in his head. No, I don't know why. He's magic. Just roll with it. I feel like I've done a couple of these now. Shane, you and I did the one where we talked about the beast, and I just did one with George, who played the mouth in Remember the
Oh,
Beast.
hell yeah.
Dude, I did not. I've never met him. Like,
Yeah.
Who was he?
He's my brother's friend. Bree, I don't know if you watched Good Luck and Good Vibes. I think you did watch Good Luck.
I think I did.
George was one of the two main dudes in Good Luck and Good Vibes, except they didn't have a mask on in Good Luck and Good Vibes. But yeah, George is
Your
my
brother and George are a real pair.
They are some of the funniest guys. George is my brother's friend, and like the two of them, when you get them together, I mean, I feel partly responsible for their sense of humor, because like I started like
developing my weird sense of humor in like high school. And then I like slowly passed it down to them, and they've just taken it to a whole new level. Some of
I didn't think was possible.
I know. Like sometimes their humor is so abstract that I don't even know what they're talking about anymore.
You just don't get the joke.
Exactly. And I'm like, for
Like,
me
what's the joke?
for me to not understand like a weird joke, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I don't even understand. Like, I can't even, because one of the things that they do so well is they blur the lines of like reality, and I can't tell when they're joking sometimes. Like sometimes George will show up, because George just comes to, like, will just show up at our house sometimes, which is fine because he's hilarious. And he'll just come in. I told Shane this, that one time, I don't think I was here for it. Like, I don't think I was home when it happened, but he just showed up in a full astronaut outfit, like a full-on astronaut suit, and just walked in.
Where
And
do
my
you even
mom-
get one of those?
I don't know, but my mom said she didn't even
Space.
know what. Oh
You
yes,
get it from space, yeah.
You're right.
my mom said she didn't even know who it was. It was just a person in an astronaut suit just like burst through the front door, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. But yes, that's why when the Beast stuff started getting really crazy, I was like, I'm sure that Spencer and George will be free. But yeah, I know Shane and I talked about it, but like I think what I was gonna say was I feel like I've started every one of these like little podcast things by thanking people that were in the Beast for being in the Beast, but I'll do it again. Thank you guys for being in the Beast, and being a part of it. I'm grateful for that, for sure. So
I would have liked a better pay grade, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a couple bucks on it.
He pulls out nothing.
Yeah, you know what? Just invisible money.
I got a couple rocks.
Whoa! I'll take 3 of those.
Crack?
All right.
What's do you guys have a favorite rock?
Igneous.
Yeah, same.
Like, are we talking like actual the names of a
Dwayne
rock,
Johnson.
or like how they form? Because that's two different things.
I-
And I failed. What's it called? Geology?
Geology.
Geography.
Geography? Failed that.
Rockology. Rockology
Rock on.
101.
I put rock on my test, and he thought I was crazy.
Rock on. That to me, that's an automatic pass right there.
I've been like, she's
That
got good
reminds me,
vibes. I
I-
like her. I like her style.
I did really shite on a physics test back in high school. It just didn't click for me until like the week before finals when I started finally understanding chapter 1. But I was real close with the teacher. He was my soccer coach. And I just knew I fucking bombed it. So at that point, I'm like, I just filled in bullshit answers because better fill in something, right? And I knew they were bullshit. But there were most of the back pages blank, so I just drew like this old samurai who was like really disappointed and just said, "I'm sorry, I have failed you." It was like half the page.
Did the teacher like appreciate it, or were they like,
Oh yeah, totally. He didn't
that's
give me any
great.
points for it, but
Did he like hang it up? Because I would have.
on the fridge? I went to high school with this guy. I won't name him on here because he probably would be like, don't do that. But this dude, he was so quiet. One of those guys that like, he just like you barely ever heard him talk, but when he did talk, he would say the funniest shit. Like, you just wait for him to have like a good one-liner. But one time, I don't know why I'm holding a marker. I just found this on the table.
You made me hold a pen.
Yeah,
I saw you doing that. I was like,
when I talk, I feel like having something in my hand helps me. Like, I don't know, but I'm gonna put it down. No, but this kid. Oh, I just kicked the table. This kid, he one time he would do stuff. He was like a genius. He got straight A's all the time. Like, he was so smart, but he would do shit to like just to test the teacher's limits all the time. And one time he wrote an essay for this class that I was in. He wrote the whole thing in purple crayon, just for no reason. He just wrote the whole thing in purple crayon because he just wanted to, because he knew what he was talking about. Like, he knew that he knew the topic, and he goes, I just remember I sat next to him, like he was like on this side of me, and I just remember like halfway through the essay, I feel his hand, and I go, I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to like get an automatic 0 or something for like if the teacher thought we were cheating, but I just remember I was like, what? And he goes, so quiet, but he just goes, look. And I was like, what? And he goes, purple crayon. And I was like, what? I was like, what? You're
Did
right.
you just have that on him?
Yeah, I don't know why he had a purple crayon. I seriously, to this day, I have no idea why. Like, he must have been planning it. Like, he knew that we had the essay, and he just was like, he was probably woke up that morning and was like, I'm gonna bring a purple crayon, because that was that's how he was. He would plan a joke. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he'd plan a joke for like days before. Like, he would tell me that he was planning a joke.
Jesus.
Or, like, he's a funny dude. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
Back in 8th grade, we had this teacher. I won't say his name. He was a history teacher, and he was a really old guy. He was a Vietnam vet kind of guy, but very funny, very respectable. And when he hosted detention, it was like a blessing. If you were, I was just a good noodle. I didn't get detention, but at least not back then. But but if he was hosting detention that day, basically, instead of staying for a full hour, he would just have you fill up a page of writing saying, like, I will, basically like Bart Simpson, like, I will not do this.
I will not.
I think that's what or it was like the Pledge of Allegiance or something. You have to keep writing it over and over again or whatever.
Oh my god.
It was something stupid like that.
Allegiance.
Yeah, don't we all? But regardless, you had to write something. And I had a friend who got detention on the day that this teacher was hosting it, but he didn't bring a pen or pencil. And this teacher does not have pens or pencils. Like, his rules, like, you got to be prepared. So I'm not going to help you with that. You got to do it yourself. So he's like, well, you better find a way to write or you're not leaving. So he took a paper clip, pricked his finger, and wrote the whole thing in blood.
No.
He wrote it in his blood?
That's so gross. I wouldn't have even wanted it at that point.
The teacher didn't want it. He's like, you already did it. You can leave, but I'm not taking that.
That's so gross.
He just didn't ask anybody for, like, a utensil? He was
by
like, you know
himself,
what?
I think.
I guess this is my next best option. That's just so, I couldn't even do.
Times are tough.
I couldn't.
Certainly a low point.
How do you even think about that? You know what I mean? Like,
he was a weird dude.
Yeah, he sounds. Yeah. There was a kid that I went to, another kid that I went to high school with, that the dude, hilarious, one of the best guys that I know, but he was always like, I mean, I'm from Hinckley, and so it's kind of like, you know, we're very rural. It's like a lot of farmland. So like, you know, you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff in Hinckley, like, you know, just depending on what it is. But I just, this dude that I knew, he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't like it was never like concerning, but he would always like, his dad was in the army, and like his dad just had knowledge of like how to build explosives. So this kid would just always be like, hey, I built this thing and I'm going to set it off in my backyard. And I'd be like, that sounds like a terrible idea. I'm in, I'll be there. I'm
in, I'm there.
I'm going to be there for that. And I know this dude, my friends and I used to do airsoft a lot. I think Shane, you and I have like talked about this a little bit, but I don't know if I ever talked about, there was this one time, I mean, this guy, he built a full-on fort in his backyard and invited us all over. And I like, when you're doing airsoft, it's like kind of immersive.
Oh yeah.
So, like, at least for me, as someone with like I think all three of us have creative brains. So like, not you shit. No, but I feel like, I don't know, when you have like a big imagination, it's even more immersive, because you're like, I would get really into it. And I remember that it was the dead of winter, and we were all bundled up, and he built a fort, and my team had to infiltrate this fort. And it was insanity. Like, I couldn't believe how much time he put into building this fort. It was huge, and it was built out of wood and metal, and it was crazy. And I remember his little brother joined. His little brother was like 5, and he was like,
Jesus.
He was like, can I come with you guys? And we were all like, sure, if you're not afraid of, you know, getting hit with the BBs and stuff. So he came with us, and this kid was so good. Like, he had
he's
like
dexterous. You can't hit him.
I know, he was really small, and at one point, he was like ducking and weaving behind bushes, and I was like, this kid's crazy. And like, we hid out long enough that we like snuck around the fort, and we just waited there for about an hour, waiting for them to come out and look for us. So they did. They came out looking for us, and we infiltrated. We knew that my one friend, we talked about this regularly, that if he ever caught him alone, he would always surrender. Like, he would just go, I surrender. Like, he didn't even try to fight back. So we knew. I was like, he's the only one in there. If we go in there now, he's just gonna surrender. And some of my other friends were like, are you sure he's just gonna do that to his team? I was like, yes, I promise you that he will. So we go into the fort. And we walk in there, and, you know, we all have our airsoft guns, and we walk in, and he goes, I surrender. And so he surrendered immediately. And we.
Did you even say anything, or is it just at your sight?
Yeah, like as soon as he laid eyes on like all like 5 or 6 of us that walked in, I surrender, because he didn't want to get hit with a BB, because he was like afraid to get hit, which I understand. I didn't enjoy that part either. But then once we were in the fort, we didn't know what to do. We were like, well, that was a lot easier.
You won. You got the control point.
Sort of, except that the other team came back, and then we were trapped inside their fort, and they just took us all out one by one. But what ended up happening was that his little brother was like the last one standing.
Was he on your team?
Yeah, he was on our team, and he was the last one standing, and he just walks out in front of the other team, and he goes, come on, hit me. And like, it was the craziest thing I've ever, it was insanity. I was like, oh, it was so intense. And they were like, they all had this discussion about, should we shoot the kid? I mean, he's like with a BB, of course. They were like, should we get him? I mean, he's like 5. And they decided on yes, and they got him, and then our team lost. But it was a wild day. I've never forgotten.
What a brave child.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought of this. Sorry to cut you off, Devon,
No,
but
you're good.
Shane, do you remember in Stage Combat when we used to play those games with our gloves and we'd have to go around hitting each other?
My gloves are probably around here.
And we used to do this game, and so like they'd like what was our professor's name?
Dustin.
Dustin, thank you. And Dustin was like, okay, let's split the class in half. You guys go over there. You guys go over there. And it felt like a game of dodgeball.
Oh,
but except you're.
It's like dodgeball ninja with gloves rather than your hands.
And instead of balls, you're using like your gloves, and you have to slap these people around your classroom. And so we're like all chasing and cornering each other and slapping each other like with these gloves. And these gloves were like leather, so like they hurt. Like if you hit them hard enough.
That made me like really frustrated because I have like a really military tactic set of mind. I don't know if that's just like a masculine thing in our culture or not, or just because of like video game backgrounds maybe. But like, I'd be like, I know like a good strategy how we can win, and then everyone just immediately goes fucks off and does stuff. I'm like, no, please stop doing that.
That's the thing is that like it's so I feel like dudes they never want to listen to other dudes. I mean I'm the same way. I feel like all dudes.
It was both the men and the women in the class. It wasn't just.
I feel like when I used to do these airsoft wars, none of us would ever want to listen to each other because we all wanted to do our own thing, which was so annoying.
Sounds like men, yeah.
Yeah, it drove me crazy because we would be like, all right, here's what we'll do, and then somebody else would just walk away. You'd be like, hey, wait, I had a strategy.
Please.
It drove me crazy.
Strategy though.
Strategy.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I cut off your story.
No, that was it. For me. Okay. I might have cut off brief, but.
Well, I do have another. I have another topic that I do have written down. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I know I put something on my Snapchat about it, but I've been playing Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights.
I was about to bring that up. I just saw your tweet about it.
I don't know if either of you have either of you guys played that game.
My friends kept telling me about how awesome it was, and they couldn't find theirs, so we went and bought one.
Oh yeah.
At like a really cheap place, and it was broken. Like I don't remember. I think it just like I don't remember how it was like lagging and glitching out. Like you couldn't get past certain things.
Yeah.
Not because it was hard. I mean that's a reason, but like that plus glitches in the game.
Right. That game is. Well, Bree, have you ever played that?
No, I'm not a big video game person. Maybe it's because of my ADD, but like I can't focus longer on like playing a game, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like I want to play it in real life. Like
right. This game, I haven't played a lot of. It's for PS2, and I just recently found my PS2. I haven't played anything on it in years, and like. But this game has been I had lost this game for a really long time, and I was sitting in my basement actually playing another game on my PS4, and I like glance over and I'm like, is that is that Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights? It can't be. It's just sitting there. How have I not been able to find it all this time?
Like a beautiful light like hitting it.
I used to, as a kid, I loved this game, but I thought about it more, and I don't know why I loved it, because I don't think I ever got past the like third level of it.
It's like impossible.
It's so hard. I don't understand how any kid could figure this game out. It's like there's you have to get items to progress to different areas. Like you have to get like these spring shoes that let you double jump. Then you have to get, and there's all these things you have to find. So it's a frustrating game because like you go through one area and you can see that there's different areas that you can't access until you get specific items. So then you play through an area, then you get stuck because you don't have the next item to move on. So then you have to go back to a different area, find that item, then go back and play through the other area again. I don't know why I'm still playing it. It drives me crazy. But it's like
I think it's primarily Don Knotts. He really keeps you involved.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even know why that guy is in that game.
He was in the show a lot.
Oh, was he really? Oh, no,
a few episodes, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Hornswoggle.
He's such a weird character in the game because he'll like help you, but then he'll go, "I hate dogs. Dogs are so smelly and stinky and gross." And I'm like, "Why are you helping Scooby?"
He's the OG Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, he's like, "I hate dogs. What's going on?" But yeah, I've been playing it, and like I can't even tell you how many times I've been this close to rage quitting a game for little kids. It's driving. I got stuck for so long. I played for like 3 days. I couldn't figure out what to do. I had to actually look it up on the internet. I was like, how to get bubble gum. I couldn't find it anywhere. And finally, all of a sudden, one day, I got through like 6 boss fights.
Ooh, that's good.
The best part of the whole game is that every boss has their own theme music. And, you know, they're monsters from the show.
Which monsters are they? I saw that the Space Kook was one of them.
The Space Kook is in the game. He's not a boss.
Oh,
but,
not, okay.
But the Black Knight is one of the bosses. The Green Ghost is a boss.
Yeah. I'm really into Scooby-Doo, by the way. I watched that more than I watched SpongeBob when I was a kid, so I know everything that you're saying.
I love Scooby-Doo. And probably not as big into it as you were, Shane.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, hey, no, you know, I don't want any trouble, okay? No, but the Green Ghost is the second boss, and then Redbeard is a boss.
Yep.
Redbeard.
And there's a character that's specific to the game, the Mastermind, voiced by
Don Knotts again.
No, not Don Knotts. He's like, I've been the villain the whole time.
Is it Scrappy Doo probably voices him, right?
Oh my god, that would immediately make the game not as fun. No, he's a famous actor. He played Pennywise in the original, like the TV. Why can I not?
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry, I believe, is the Mastermind. I'm pretty positive.
I love Tim Curry.
I'm pretty positive it's him, and he's like, I'm the Mastermind, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a spooky villain, that's for sure.
I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, he's creepy. He's the best part of the whole game. But what I was gonna say was each boss has their own theme music, and it's so 60s. Like it's supposed to sound like
of course.
The old, so like Green Ghost. It's like, Green Ghost is coming after you. And I'm like, this is so fun. And the boss fights are not that bad, but you usually get the item that you need after you beat a boss. So it's like, but it's a matter of finding the bosses, and you also have to collect Scooby snacks to unlock gates to get to the next.
Scooby snacks.
Oh,
Those are so good. Have you guys had those?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like the cookies, the Scooby snacks, like the actual.
So good.
Yes, I used to pretend that they were actual Scooby snacks that I was eating, like straight out of the world of the show.
The lore of the universe is confusing because like there's Scooby snacks, unless they just because the boxes say Scooby snacks, so that means Mr. Ink is. I mean, we know that they're like at least locally famous, but they must be like really fucking famous. Unless Scooby's named after a famous dog.
I thought that I read somewhere that Scooby was named after Scooby snacks, like that.
Oh, that would make sense. I think you're right.
And one came before the other. Is that
it's a chicken egg scenario.
Yeah, I thought like Shaggy really already liked Scooby snacks or something, so
that would make sense.
Scooby.
You know what his real name is?
Shaggy snacks.
Norbert.
But Shaggy's not. It's Norville.
Norville, yeah.
Norville
Norville's
Rogers.
his real name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see why he goes by Shaggy.
Did you guys
There's
ever
so
watch did you guys ever watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
that show has one of the best. I love that show's storyline. It's one of my favorite cartoons like of all time. I couldn't believe how into it I got.
I think I watched nearly every series of Scooby-Doo.
I don't think I've
The only
watched.
one I have not watched entirely is Scooby and Scrappy. Understandably why. I've seen a couple of them. I saw
Why
they.
you
I
guys
saw the
are
one where they made
talking
the Blues
about
Brothers.
Scrappy-Doo like you don't like him or something? What's wrong with Scrappy-Doo?
I appreciate what he did for Scooby-Doo history. And that's it.
I don't hate Scrappy, but I see why people.
I like OG Scrappy because like when they first started with him, like he was new and fresh, and then they just got really fucking old.
Yeah, I feel like
I liked Scrappy-Doo in the live-action film, and
Yes.
I think
The
I
live-action
might
film's
like
great.
Scrappy-Doo because he's such like he's like almost a little dick. Like he's
Yeah.
just he's just an asshole.
yeah,
Funny, Adam.
I don't really have like too much of a problem with Scrappy. I think like in small doses I can handle Scrappy usually, but
Yeah.
I could see how like if you watched all of Scooby and Scrappy-Doo, it would.
It'd
start
be real
to-
fucking annoying.
start
Yeah,
to go-
that's when the show started dying out again.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I don't think I was actually going to say anything worthwhile.
I was changing to a different Scooby.
Okay, fine, I'll go then. Yeah, Scrappy-Doo is pretty cool. I like him. He's small. He's like
And
you can take
scrappy.
him a bunch of places and you can't like he won't get stuck anywhere because he's so small. Every time he messes up, he's like, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that damn dog. But like he is a dog. It's like he has an identity crisis all the time. He always thinks
Yeah.
he's a human. He pees on things. It kind of
Yeah, he's
relates
pup.
to me almost.
You
Like
pee on
I
things?
am Scrappy-Doo, if you guys know what I mean.
I totally understand what you're saying. I think that I'm going to title this episode of the podcast "A Defense of Scrappy-Doo" or Scrappy-Doo, a discussion.
What I was gonna say was Devon.
Yeah,
Do you remember the first conversation that we ever had?
the first conversation. Man, was it in the dorm room?
No, it was in the cyber.
I don't know if I remember. I mean, maybe if you bring it up, I will remember it. But
We had you'll remember as soon as I start talking about this. We had horror class together.
yes.
Um,
Wait. I think I know.
and, I didn't even realize you were in there for the longest time. I had recognized you because you were friends with Clay.
Mhm.
And I'm like, hey, you just wanna get together and study for this midterm?
Yeah,
I
remember
did
that,
with
yeah.
someone else.
With,
And like it was
yeah.
just like it was like awkwardly quiet. I don't want to say awkward. It's not like we were trying to have conversation. It kept dying out. It's just like we're trying to get shit done. Which
Yeah.
is surprising, knowing us. But and like you
didn't
just
know each
randomly
other well
started
enough
singing.
at that point to know that we could get so little done.
Oh, what a pleasant time that was. And you just randomly started singing the Hex Girls song. I'm
That's
gonna put a
good
spell on you.
song.
And I looked at you, and you looked back at me like you stopped singing. You're like, it's the Hex Girls. I put a spell on you. I'm like, I know what it is. I fucking love it.
I do remember that. Yeah, because I was really nervous because I didn't hang out with a lot of people at that point. Like Clay was really the only person that I had like really made friends with on campus, and I was making friends with some of like the guys in the fraternity. Hey,
Oh yeah, I forgot Zoom has been doing this because of.
Oh, gift
Coronavirus.
from Zoom. Running out of time. We've removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. I love it.
Thank you, Zoom.
That's
Thank you.
good. What was I? Oh no, yeah. I really had only been I hadn't really hung out with that many people, but I knew you from like I vaguely knew you at that point. And I didn't know. Kind of like I went through this same like story arc with Clay where I didn't know the extent of his sense of humor yet. So like I was really, and I knew you, but I didn't know what exactly I could get away with humor wise at that point. So I was
So
like,
let me start with Scooby-Doo songs.
yeah, I feel like that's a decent place to start because I knew
is.
if you knew the Hex Girls song and sang along, I was like, all right, yeah.
I didn't remember the lyrics at the time, hence why I didn't sing along.
I'm
But
gonna put a
put a spell on you.
I'm gonna put a spell on you. Yeah, that's a classic.
Those girls were badass.
Oh yeah,
I
They were
remember
cool.
watching them. I was like, I want to be them.
me too.
Me too.
Hey, there's three of us here right now.
That's true. Yeah, we have become The Hex Girls. That's
You know what? We should do a karaoke song, all three of us together over Zoom.
yeah. That'll be the next episode. We'll advertise it for weeks.
Did you guys see it?
Karaoke
It was,
episode.
I
We
forget
got a
which
piano right
university it
here.
was. It was some big musical theater conservatory,
Hmm?
and they were doing Chicago. No, not Chicago. They were doing a more ensemble piece. I don't know. They were doing some musical for the spring, and they
Cabaret.
obviously I want to say cabaret, but I don't think it was something that was like depressing. I think it was like something that was actually like really happy. But regardless, the show didn't go on, obviously, so they decided to do it over Zoom.
Mm.
You can't do music
Yeah.
over, everyone's just at different times. It is absolutely atrocious, and I'm
That's
sorry. I know they probably put a lot of great effort into it,
Right.
but don't ever do that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling anyone who's thinking about it right now of doing
No.
music over, no.
I don't know how they did. I don't know if you guys have been watching the John Krasinski, the Some Good News episodes.
I'm not a
at
big
all.
fan of him, so no, I haven't.
I don't
No.
love him, but I mean, I like his idea behind it.
Oh yeah, it's a great idea.
It's a cool idea. I think it is like an important thing right now. But I don't know how they had in like the second episode they had Lin-Manuel Miranda come on with like the entire cast.
I was questioning that same thing.
How
But
did
go
they
on,
do
in case
that?
we
It
haven't said
sounded
this.
there was no lag. It sounded perfect. I don't understand how they
It
put
might. No, it couldn't have been recorded because they're
Just
all
because
talking.
it's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know because they were all over Zoom and or they were over some online discussion thing and it was all edited together so well. It didn't even there was not a single flaw.
It could have all been done in post. I don't know.
Possible.
Because imagine being that girl I was there and it's just all it's like really
Yeah,
shit.
you were
Because everything's out of
acting
time.
on the spot. It's just noise. It's just like, oh, thanks.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
John Krasinski's like, you love it, right? It's great, right? She's like, yeah, thanks. He's like, get out of here. Disconnect from Zoom. Get out. This is just something that I thought about earlier, and I was just sitting on the couch, and it just made me laugh. I was watching the news, and I questioned to myself, what if you were watching the news and you just saw yourself on the news at on a live, live, and you but you were
Would you
sitting
see you sitting there watching the news live?
No,
Or
like
is
you're-
it something else entirely?
It's like pre-recorded, but you didn't know you were gonna be on there.
No,
But it's
literally,
live.
literally, it's live, and you're sitting on the couch, and you see yourself live on the news doing something totally different. What would you do? I don't even know
I feel
what.
like I gotta go to bed. I've been up too
I've been
many nights.
I'm up for too long.
I would question how he got out. Next question.
How we got out. I feel like I would have to call into the news channel and be like, hey, where'd you that guy that's on the news? That's me. And they're like, what? Be like, no,
I'm
I'm
like-
sitting on my. Who is that guy? Because I'm sitting on my couch, but I'm also there.
You call in live while it's happening.
You go, yeah, that's
And
not-
while on TV you can hear your voice playing, you see you in the background
yeah. If I
looking
called,
dead down the barrel of the lens and leave.
if I called my own number, would the me on the
Ooh.
TV with his phone ring? And he's
He
like,
answers it as he's like washing the dishes in like a restaurant. He goes, "Hello."
Are you able to call your own number?
I don't know.
I
I mean,
mean,
I guess from
I've
another.
never tried it.
I'm gonna.
that is an
um,
interesting question. We
I'm
should
trying it
try
right now.
that.
Hold on. I'm trying it right now.
I'm gonna call my own number.
I'm gonna call my own number then.
216. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it all on this thing that a lot of people. Hey, everybody.
We know your area code.
All right, I'm calling myself.
Same.
Oh, it just goes to. It's just. You're just calling your voicemail at that point. I think.
Gotcha. Also, I forgot that for the purposes of Bluetooth in my car, I did make a contact of myself. And,
Yeah.
Called it Bruce Wayne. So that way, I forget. And I just was able. This is my old car, not my car I have now, but I was able to refer to myself as Mr. Wayne. Like the Bluetooth would speak to me
Mr.
like that.
Wayne.
It's pretty rad.
Does it
Anyway.
speak in a British accent?
Yeah, I turned it to
Oh.
British mail.
Yes, that's perfect. I was driving one time, and I was using Waze, and
Yeah.
at one point I think there was a Liam Neeson movie that came out, so they had Liam Neeson's voice on Waze, so he'd be like, turn left here, And I was like,
terrifying. I feel like I'd be taken.
I know. And I was driving
I
with,
will find you.
I don't remember who I was with, but he was like, turn right here. And I didn't realize that it was one of those like roads where I turned down a one-way street basically. But I thought because the road,
right way.
no, I turned out going the wrong way because the road that I needed was like here, but I turned down this one, like because he said turn right here, so I went, oh, this is a road, so I turned right, and I immediately realized that I was going the wrong way when a car was coming at me head on, and I was like fuck, and I slid off the road into the snow, but nobody got hurt, but I was.
Did Liam Neeson say anything when you went down the wrong road?
Yeah, he went. Gotcha. Shane, did you see the Elder Scrolls 6 leak?
No.
I
was literally just talking about Elder Scrolls 6 like last week. Talking about how there's like no information.
I only heard
they announced the teaser 2 years ago and nothing since.
I just heard this from my brother. I didn't actually look it up, but I heard that that there's the potential in the Elder Scrolls 6 to have like Lord of the Rings scale battles, like huge, but they're waiting for like the next gen consoles.
Yeah, I definitely heard that.
Yeah,
because Todd Howard said that they're working on another game right now, and they don't want to overwork themselves with 2 games at once, or else they'll get another Fallout situation.
Right,
so,
right. Yeah,
I'm glad he cares. Like, I'd rather wait and have a good game than.
Oh yeah, same.
Another of the past 2 Fallout games.
I think that's what they're doing with GTA 6 too. I feel like they're
I feel like GTA 5 didn't come out that long ago, but it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this is what we're doing next.
It's harder. Doing like the pencil stash is much harder when you have an actual mustache.
There. Is that a cool look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
to my podcast. I want to be talking about.
Hey, I got
you hear like birds and you hear.
I bought a bird.
Did you?
Yeah.
I saw that on Snapchat.
What kind of bird?
It's a cockatiel.
Hell yeah.
What's his name?
It's Quincy, but I call
That's
him.
a perfect name.
Because I don't know if it's a boy or girl, so it's like a question. So I call him Q.
Quincy? I love birds. They can be assholes sometimes, but
they can.
Cute. They like to bite and peck.
I don't know anything about birds at all. Like
noisy as hell.
Yeah, that's it. I think birds are cool, but I don't think I'd ever be able to have a pet one because I think I would go, I don't know how to take care of this thing.
It's like I don't know what to do with you now.
What's everyone's opinion on exotic animals as pets?
Well, what type of exotic animals is the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's important because like my thing is like, I know you shouldn't, and I have a great love for nature.
Oh yeah.
But like, if there's nowhere else for this little guy to go, like, I'll gladly take a giraffe.
I think as long as you have permission to have the animal and you can take care of it properly.
Yeah.
I have no problem with. I would definitely have a I don't know, like a lemur.
Like a honey badger.
Yeah, honey badger or something.
Those are vicious.
Yeah, I guess those are pretty mean. But I guess if you raised one properly to be polite, it might not be so.
Did you ever hear about the dwarf porn actor body double for Gordon Ramsay that got mauled by honey badgers?
Oh my god!
I'm not fucking with you on any of this.
Every part of what you just said, my brain cannot. Every word of that sentence doesn't make sense to me.
There's a real niche market out there for midget body doubles of celebrities in porn. And his name is Percy Foster. Look it up.
Oh my god! And he was mauled to death by a honey badger?
Yeah, he like was high on coke for like several days or something, and they found his body in a honey badger den. Yeah.
Honey badger was high on coke?
Of course.
Honey badger's like, I'm gonna go kill him.
Kill Gordon Ramsay's body double.
There he is.
I just got that image in my head of like walking down the dark street. He's like got coke on his nose.
Oh my god. Is that
no, please.
Is that a honey badger? No.
You want.
Like 2 feet tall.
Yeah. But look it up, and he actually does look a lot like Gordon Ramsay. I gotta be honest.
Did he in these videos that he made? Were they cooking videos?
I didn't watch the videos. I just saw the news article of his death, his untimely passing.
Wait, Gordon Ramsay's dead?
No, his body double, Percy Foster. However, the night's still young. So.
That's true. That's true.
Now that the honey badgers have had a taste, they want some more.
Exactly.
They want the on brand. They had the off brand.
They want the bigger target.
They're like, next we'll get Gordon Ramsay himself. That's why Gordon doesn't do a lot of he doesn't have many TV appearances anymore because the honey
He
badger.
just released another masterclass. What do you mean?
Well, but he filmed that in a safe location. He's got bodyguards there.
I prefer the Gordon Ramsay dwarf porn actor masterclass.
I was gonna ask something that I always think is interesting to talk about with people is like what I think Shane and I we've had this conversation before, but like what is the scariest thing to you, or like what scares you most?
I think Bree knows the answer to mine.
Do I?
I don't know.
Yeah, clowns.
Why would you say it like that?
Oh yeah.
Because you were in a play about it.
Oh shit, yeah, it's clowns. Shane's scared of clowns.
I did know that. Now, if you had to pick like something more abstract, what's something really abstract that scares you a lot?
You looking for a serious answer?
Commitment.
Anything. It could be anything. I don't know.
Time running out.
Like physical or like
Anything. Literally can be anything.
well, I got a couple things I'm scared of.
Please.
Fish.
Really?
I'm really scared of fish.
Why?
For what reason?
Like I'm like the type of scared of fish where I can't even walk past them in the aquarium section of the pet store kind of thing.
Why?
Wow.
I was really traumatized as a kid, and the trauma didn't hit me until I got older and like reflected upon those memories that happened to me. So like I had this friend, she probably won't see this. So her name was Cassidy, and her mom took us down to this creek in PA, and I was a very outside kid, you know what I mean? So I was like totally down for everything, and I had no fear back then. And I didn't realize the amount of fish that were in this creek.
God.
Oh
I
God.
didn't think I cared. But these, you know, those water snakes, those black water snakes? They started
Yeah.
Yeah.
popping up around us. And Cassidy's mom was like, get out of the water. So, like, we're all swimming to shore. And I'm like, okay, got to get away from these, like, snakes. And she crawled onto this shore. And she's like, come on, Bree, get up here. And I'm like a chunky version of myself now. And so, like, I didn't have really good, like, ability to climb. And I was like, how do I get up here? And I found this place underneath the rocks in the water to put my foot. And I was like, why is it so slimy, right? And I, like, turned around and, like, sat up on this creek, like, the shore. I think it was, like, shale, actually. It's like a shale.
Oh,
Like,
your favorite rock, yes.
yeah. Shale. And I looked at my foot, and there was a big pink fish sucking on my big toe.
Oh my God.
Will Potts?
Like I jumped out of the water, and it was like
I
sucking
hope he sees
my
this.
toe. And so I start flailing my leg. I'm like, get off! And I'm like freaking out. And it finally got off.
That's so.
I'm just picturing a blobfish.
Yeah,
basically, that's what it looked like. I had a mass genocide in my fish tank back in high school when I tried to clean my fish tank. I mean, I had like
I think you told me this.
fish, yeah, 7 to 10 fish in this fish tank, and me and my mom were cleaning it, and we put the fish back in the tank, and I mean slowly. It was like a slow dying, right? 1, 2 fish,
Really?
3 fish. 4.
Why'd they
Did
die?
Dr. Seuss write a book about that?
Apparently you're not supposed to clean tanks with bleach,
Oh, that makes sense.
and I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just used chemical warfare.
Yeah.
You just broke the Geneva Convention.
You're right to be afraid of fish because, like the honey badgers, they've now got a vendetta against you.
Yeah, they do. Every time I eat fish, I get a bone stuck in my throat somehow.
Seriously?
I don't know how, because I don't eat fish often, but like I've gotten bones stuck in my throat, like fish bones, man. Like that's
so weird.
hardcore.
I got a secondhand story about that.
What?
Fish bones?
Yeah, secondhand. So this did not happen to me, but my buddy Nick told me this. He went to France in high school as like a class trip or something, and they had not eaten like all day. They were just walking and seeing a lot of parts of France, which is cool, but they were starving. So they went to the restaurant. I think they went to a restaurant in Eiffel Tower, I think. And they all got fish, and he was so hungry. And this guy, as small as he is, he's about my size, eat nonstop. He just scarfed down this fish like within like 10 minutes.
Oh,
And everyone's still eating. About 20 minutes passes, and everyone's got like, you can see the rib cage of the fish on the plate and everything. He looks down, his plate's empty. He's like,
oh, what?
and they're like, Nick, what'd you do with your bones? He's like, what?
What? How is it? Doesn't
It probably wasn't that big of a fish, but
can it kill you to eat bones?
Yeah.
If they,
yeah,
like,
it's a bone.
If they like splinter inside of you, can it like rupture
Totally.
or something?
Totally.
Stuck in your throat too, like it did me.
That is awful. Yeah, that's why I don't eat. I have a lot of trouble eating wings that have bones in them. I just don't like.
They're just messy, especially when you have facial hair.
They are.
They are. Oh yeah, that's part of it. But just the looking at the bone, and I'm always afraid that I'm gonna bite part of the bone and choke on it. Like that's my.
I kind of like it though. I feel like I'm getting in touch with like my ancestry of just
like a
eating like a
warrior.
fucking wild boar.
Yeah, for me, I always get
history over there. I don't want it. I'll take the boneless.
I always get boneless wings, and I like cut them with it, and I'm
Boneless wings of it. You cut it? What the hell?
yeah. Well, I cut it with a
Just
fork.
bite
I
it.
don't actually cut it with a knife. I don't take that much time. I dip and I eat. It's much cleaner. It's a much cleaner process.
What kind of dipping? What kind of sauce?
Blue
Yes.
cheese.
Blue
You don't like
cheese.
blue cheese?
Nah.
I gotta go. Like this went on for too long. I gotta go.
I only like blue cheese dressing with wings. That's literally the only circumstance I would ever have blue cheese dressing. I think it's gross.
I mean, you're not alone in that. A lot of people like blue cheese, so I won't dog on you too much. But
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Bree, did you have other things? You said you had a couple things.
Yeah, they're kind of intercorrelated between each other. Shane, you know this next one, but I'm really afraid of ghosts as well.
Oh,
Spirits.
that was going to be one of my
Do I
other
know that?
questions, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about this, but I don't remember why.
I was actually going to ask, like, if you guys believed in ghosts and were afraid of them. So you've already hit one of my other questions.
Yeah, so here we go. This is a little story. It's a nice segue. Shane, me, and Darjon Bentley, if you know him, who he is.
I know of him. I don't know.
That day.
Yeah, we were like all playing cards in my room in Lang, cause Shane lived upstairs from me too, in like the Nut Hut.
Not hot.
Yep. And Darjon kept like falling asleep during.
This is in your room. That's in Beast 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he kept falling asleep, and me and Shane were like, Darjon, wake up, man. And we're like, come on, you're being a buzzkill, stay up with us. And basically, Darjon talks in his sleep.
Oh.
And remember now that everyone thinks Lang is haunted.
I knew
And
that, yeah.
Me moving in here, knowing this, like, instantly mind fucks me. Like,
Right.
yeah, now I'm like, where is she? When's Emma coming to see me? Like, I know she's gonna knock on my door any second. I know you're in the closet, Emma. It's too dark in there. Come out.
And you can't force people like that anymore, Brie. Come on.
And
I just got
Darjon, we hand Darjon a card and we go, Darjon, it's your turn. And he goes, and he hands it back to this guy that he thought he saw behind him, behind my bed.
You're giving me goosebumps.
And me and Shane, I cannot even express the look that me and Shane gave each other. It was like,
That's so scary. That is so
I was
scary.
so scared. I was so fucking scared. But yeah, I've had a lot of ghost stories, actually. I could talk about this for days.
I'd love to hear him. Yeah, I was gonna say that I think maybe Shane, I may have told you about this, but the only I do believe I'm the type of person that like I need to actually see and like experience something for me to like totally 100% be like, oh yeah. I mean, I think that there's no doubt in my mind that it's absolutely 100% a possibility that there are ghosts. Like I'm not the type of person that's like, oh no, I don't believe in that. But I will say that I haven't had many like experiences, but the one thing that happened to me that I still can't explain it, and I'm glad that it happened the way it did because there were other people with me to like validate what I was hearing. But a while back, I tried to start like a podcast thing with a couple of my friends from high school. My friend Zach, we were kind of the two like core people that were in every single one. It was called Thaumacast, and we did like 3 episodes, maybe 4. But we did a Halloween special. My friend John lives right down the street from me. He lives on a farm.
Oh, you
Yeah.
fucking told me this. Oh, it's
He lives on a
terrifying.
farm, so he's got all this land. And our idea, you know, we've hung out in those woods a lot, like very late at night, and we always freak ourselves out because, you know, you start telling stories, you start going, did you hear that? What was that, dude? And we set up a tent, and we set up a bunch of recording equipment inside the tent. And there was like 12 of us, and I never released the episode, but I still have it on my laptop. But there was like 12 of us, and we were all in this tent, and like slowly people started having to like maybe go home, and eventually we just kind of ran out of things to talk about. So we were like, all right, we'll end the episode here, you know. So we shut everything off. But I brought my camera and my audio stuff, the same stuff that I used for the Beast. I had it at this point still. So like, but I had the Tascam, and I had my headphones plugged into it. And I had everything. I had my camera, and we were like, I was like, all right, let's just walk through the woods and see if like anything scary happens, or just have like make a fun video. So we walked through the woods, and like nothing. Yeah, it was a dumb idea. Nothing like weird happened while we were walking through the woods, but it was once when we like started packing everything up, and nobody wanted to spend the night. We said we were going to spend the night out there, but we all knew nobody was going to actually go through with it. So like we started packing everything up, and I packed up my camera, but I kept the audio equipment out for some reason. I can't remember why I didn't put it away, but I still had it out and on. And like I had the headphones on. I don't remember what I was doing, but we were like walking down this path back to John, there's a lake behind, like way back at the woods, at the way back of the woods, there's a lake. And we walked to the lake, then walked back. We were walking up the path towards John's house, and like I had the audio stuff on, and that mic, when you have headphones plugged in, that mic picks up stuff from really far away. Like I could hear cars from like the street that was like a good like 2 miles away. I could hear cars through the mic, and I was like, that is crazy how much that's picking up. So then I like turned towards the lake, and I shit you not, I heard what sounded like 12 different people all whispering over each other, like if you were in a crowded room, like, but you heard, like when you're in a big room of people, you can't really make out what everyone's saying, but it doesn't sound like, it sounds like actual conversation, at least, I guess. Yeah, like, yeah, but what I heard sounded like 12 different people all at the same time, just all going, like, I was like, I mean, maybe not exactly like that, but I've never been that. I was like frozen in place. And it
was probably a secret society of witches.
Probably, yeah. But it was creepy because it was right where we had just come from. Like, and I was standing there with this audio thing, and I was like, guys, and like and my friend Brandon comes over, and he's like, are you okay? You look really scared. And I was like, put on these fucking headphones, dude. And Brandon puts on the headphones, and I just went, tell me what you hear. And he stands there for a second, and then he goes, dude. And I went, I fucking know, dude, what is that? So then all my friends come over, and I'm passing the headphones around, and they all listen, and they were all like, bro, what is that, dude? I said, well, I don't know. And we were like talking about it, and I was like, it sounds like a bunch of people whispering over each other. Am I right? And they were like, that's exactly what it sounds like. My one friend, I have like 3 friends named John. So one of the other Johns goes, it's probably just coyotes. I was like, oh yeah, the coyotes.
Always that one guy, right?
The legendary.
Did you go and investigate?
I didn't, but I don't.
Why not?
The legendary whispering coyotes of Hinckley, Ohio. That, but I was too scared. We were too scared to go back there. I don't know. I'm like curious. I was curious. I wanted to go back, but my other thought was that I was like, I guess it could be some weird people, I guess, maybe, probably not, or it could be animals, and I didn't want us to get like mauled or something, because we had heard coyotes earlier howling, but I don't know. That's one of the only things that's ever happened to me that I still remember I was like, that I heard it, and all of my friends heard it too. Like, it wasn't just me. I passed it around, and everyone heard the same thing, and I feel like I have the recording somewhere. There's no way I wouldn't have recorded it, but I've been looking for it and I can't find it. So I don't know, but I should look a little harder probably. But yeah, that's like the only real like thing that's happened to me where I've been like, oh, that was weird. Like that was a weird thing. But
I'm kind of like you. I'm quite skeptical. I think it's possible.
oh yeah,
I think as long as it doesn't disprove the laws of physics, anything's really possible. But
Right.
I only have 2 instances. I work at a place in Cedar Point, a frozen yogurt shop, which legend has it that the one of the shops is haunted because a ride used to be there or something. We don't know why, but
okay.
and there was one. It was my first day ever. This was back in high school, the first year I worked there. And my friend's like, "Yeah, I'll be right back." So I was by myself for like 20 minutes. And at one point, I was like, the store was a mess and like no one was in there, so I was mopping the front, and I thought I saw someone like walk by, like behind the counter. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I was coming by myself and no one was in the store. So I was mopping out in the front and I thought I saw someone walk behind the counter. I just kind of assumed it was my friend. It looked like a similar uniform. And then I walked back there like after a minute or two. I'm like, okay, I just finished. I'll see how they were doing. What was up? And no one was back there.
Oh my.
And the doors in this place are loud, so you would hear if someone left or came in.
Wow.
So I was really confused. And then like 10 minutes later, my friend showed up. They were on break, and they didn't tell me they were on break. They said they would be gone for a little bit. But so I'm like, did you come in during your break at any point? They're like, no, I was at the cafe the whole time.
Wow.
And it totally could have been an employee that was just really fucking quiet because people like to just walk through our store sometimes.
But still, yeah.
And the other one was the Mansfield Reformatory.
Yes, dude. I've been there twice
I've
now.
heard about that.
I've only been there once. Legendarily, that's a word now.
Don't you go for a class?
I went for digital photography. I went, but
Do
I
people
also
go for a class?
Oh.
Bree, that's a great class.
You went for digital photography? We didn't do that. What the hell?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they always go there, but I know if that at least when I was in there, at least when I was in there, we went.
We didn't have a single
you guys
field
get
trip.
to go because it's really cool. The best thing about when we went, sorry, I'm kind of hijacking the
You're
story.
good.
But
It's a good place to take photos.
all I was gonna say is that when we got to go for class, I took digital photography in the summer, and we went and like we showed up we got there at a time before it opened to the public, so we got about an hour to we could go anywhere in the Mansfield Reformatory. You could go on your own, and I ended up in this section of the Mansfield Reformatory, and like I walked up these stairs, and I have some pictures from it. I walked up these stairs, and I just come into this room. The ceiling is collapsed in. There's birds like just living, and I was like,
I know exactly what you're talking
yeah, I was like, what the. I feel like I'm not supposed to be up here, but it wasn't roped off. And like the stairs, I was walking up the stairs and they were like, and I was like, I feel like
probably shouldn't have been up there.
I definitely I think I was in an area of the reformatory that I wasn't supposed to be in, but nobody saw me go over there. So I was like, this is cool. But yeah, that was my story.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'll get there in a second. But for people who may not know, this is where Shawshank was filmed, Shawshank Redemption. And my dad was an extra in that movie. So
yeah.
he figured he'll take me, come watch. My dad's in a really famous obtuse scene. He's one of the guards that brings Annie Dufresne out.
Wow, okay.
So his face is quite famous. But regardless, my dad as a joke was talking to the I don't know if secretary is the right term, but the person at the front desk when you first get there for the tour and whatnot. And my dad's like was just joking, making some small talk. He's like, "Yeah, I was in the movie," and without any question, they believed him. I mean, he was telling the truth. But they're like, "Yeah, you want to go on the special tour that we don't like let anyone go on? We'll take a tour guide with you, and like as long as like you're within sight, you can go wherever you want." And I, of course, left his site once in a while.
Yeah.
But saw a bunch of shit. Because I didn't take the normal tour. I don't know what people generally see. I know some of the things I saw that were not on tour. Like I got to see the warden's office, where there's the safe and everything. And I remember in that hallway, the floor tile was very loose, and the guy was telling us like, yeah, this ceramic tile is 150 years old. So I made sure to steal some floor.
Oh yeah.
I showed
This
little.
is older than me. I might as well grab it and steal it. You know.
All of a sudden, your bedroom door is gonna bust in, and the cop. There he is. There he is. He's got the floor.
We get haunted
Um,
by a ghost who loved that floor tile.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
we were in one of the cell blocks, one of the major cell blocks, and someone took a
Return the tile.
I think it's just a speck of dust, but I don't actually know. But someone took a photo of me, and there was like a bright light, like almost perfectly circular,
Wow.
like coming from like my waist and like off. But there's like a glare. See, that itself would make me think of speck of dirt. But there's like a glare, like a linear glare coming from perfect same width as the circle, going to the edge of the frame.
Mm.
So like, could be a ghostly finger.
That's
Or-
weird.
I doubt it. I think it's dust, but and yeah, I did go see the abandoned cathedral, which is where those birds are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like
wasn't-
it was like spray paint and stuff everywhere. It was like I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was terrifying.
the cathedral we went in, and that was wild. That was one of my favorite buildings.
And it just looked like a burnt down cathedral.
Yeah, that was so cool. But the area that I was in was like completely set off from everything in the
I know what you're talking about. There's several rooms so you can hear the birds.
yeah,
in that little wing.
it was like a wooden staircase, like one, like, you know, you go up and like around, and then yeah, it was just like this. It was like a weird empty room, and the ceiling was in, and there were birds, and as soon as I walked up the stairs, they all started flying around, and I was like, oh shit, I better get out of here.
Birds.
What would you do if when you had got up the stairs, the stairwell just like fucking caved in, so you're like up all there alone?
God, I would have become one with the birds and lived amongst them until Paul
Okay.
Jacklich came to find me and said, Devon, we're leaving. The trip's over. You can't live with the birds.
Maybe for you.
Yeah, maybe I am a bird now. You go, okay, well, I guess we're leaving.
Guys, I will tell you guys a story. I can tell you guys many stories that all
Bring
the
it on.
on your arm sticking up that I can't explain it. Like, I'm one of those people that I will deny it just for my own sanity, to think that it's not real. I'd be
Mhm.
like, nah, that wasn't anything, until you actually until you see it, and then it's like, what do I
Yeah.
do with this information now? The first one happened. My mom was dating this guy, and we had just moved to Ohio, and we were renting like this old house, and we lived on the corner, and it was like this white house, and I must have been like 4th, 5th grade, and I was my mom was like doing her hair or whatever, and she was like, Bree, go outside and I'll meet you there. We'll go to the grocery store. And I was like, okay. And I had just gotten new glasses. And so I'm standing outside, it's daylight. And from the screen door, you can see downstairs into the basement.
Uh-oh.
And in the side of the basement, there is a wine cellar.
Oh, fuck. Cask of Amontillado. I know where this is going.
Without saying, my mom never liked hanging out in the basement. Like, that's where the laundry room and everything was. But there'd be nights where she'd come like running up the stairs and like not tell me why she's not going back down there.
Yeah.
Like, weird shit would happen in this house all the time. And in the moment of these kind of things happening, you do not think like, oh, maybe I should like run or something. Like, you know, you just kind of stand there like,
Yeah, like, did that?
yeah. So like, I had my glasses on, and I saw from the outside in the screen door downstairs to the basement, these 2 girls. One was like older than the other, and
All right, I gotta go. We're done.
Yeah, it's been
out
fun.
from the wine cellar to the other side of the basement, and simply trying to like logically figure this out. I'm like, maybe if I take my glasses off, things, right? My glasses, and I'm like fixing this, and I took my glasses off, and I glanced back up, and I saw these little girls run right back into the
My
wine
God.
cellar. I can't
so
make this up.
scary.
I didn't do anything about it. I didn't tell my mom about it. It's in these moments where it's like you don't even like register it. You're like, maybe I
Right.
should just walk away right now. Maybe
You know what you
that's-
should have done? You should have called Mystery Incorporated.
Back to Scooby.
Bringing it back.
what a great why can I not think of the word? I can't think of the word.
Full square.
Yeah. the where I work, at Aladdin's, our Aladdin's is built, and it's built right. There's a cemetery right behind it. When I take out the trash at night, I can if I look straight ahead of me, I can see tombstones, or headstones, or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And it's everyone's convinced that our Aladdin's is haunted, by the ghost of a little girl named Eleanor, and because one of our past managers was convinced that it was haunted, and she went to the cemetery behind it just to look around, and she said she was really she just felt like this weird, she was oddly drawn to this little girl's grave, and the name on the grave was Eleanor, and she said she was just weirdly none of the other graves in the cemetery captured her attention like that one did, and she was just really drawn to that one. So she developed the theory that our Aladdin's was haunted by Eleanor. I've never had any experiences there but the other thing that I think about too is that I'm a pretty laid back person, so it's and I also just if something weird happened, I think I would just ignore it, or I would just go
That's what you end up doing, dude. That's what I've done my entire life. I'm just it's not real.
Yeah, which makes me wonder how many times things have happened at that Aladdin's.
That dude behind you.
Yeah, no, there is a dude, and I'm just oh yeah, no, not like that. No, but yeah, there have been times at Aladdin's where I only remember one time, because I'm in the dish area at Aladdin's. I'm set back from everyone else. It's really just me back there. The kitchen's around the corner, and up to the front. I guess I shouldn't give a whole layout of the Aladdin's that I work at.
What are people gonna do?
I don't know. Maybe there's some guy taking notes about how to rob it. He's
yeah.
No, he's stopping. Well, no, keep going. They're around the corner. No, but I just I'm set back from everyone, and I do remember one time just I was spraying something off, and I felt like someone was standing behind me, just off to the side, and so I was, but it was enough that I was and there was no one there, but I was really it's the only weird thing that I've ever felt. There was I was genuinely 100% sure that someone was standing behind me, but there was no one there. But I don't know, just could have been.
I did have one weird cemetery thing. It wasn't as eventful as anything, but I was with some friends. I don't know. Not people I hang out with often, but we went to go hang out in the cemetery. I think that says a lot about us.
No, I go to the cemetery all the time.
It's a cool place to hang out.
Yeah,
it's aesthetically pleasing.
You got nothing better to do.
But there was no parking lot in the cemetery. It's a cemetery, just one that you drive through.
Oh yeah.
Because typically you don't stop in a cemetery for too long. So my car is kind of in the middle of the main pathway, and we're 40, 60 feet away from it. And my car alarm kept going off every 10, 15 minutes. And I don't know why.
That's weird.
That is
That's
weird.
it. So that could just be a tech malfunction. That's what I'm thinking.
But the fact that it was happening in the cemetery specifically definitely raises some questions of the spectral nature.
A phantom, perhaps?
A phantom, perhaps? Yeah, I feel like I had another.
I have a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one happened. Do you want to? Okay, I got a couple stories. Do you want a more recent one or old?
The creepiest one you got.
Okay. There was this one time when I was really little. It was my first experience with the paranormal. I was watching Teen Titans on my movie.
Frick yeah.
Teen Titans on my TV, and it was I guess it was late for a 5-year-old. I don't know.
6 p.m. Yeah.
But I'm sitting with my Barbie blanket and I'm watching TV, Teen Titans, and I could see my mom and my aunt down this long hallway, because they had coffee late at night after I went to bed, and my feet kept getting tickled, and I was like,
no
way.
Stop.
That's why I never stick my feet out of the blanket. I never do it.
Can't
my
do
feet
it.
were in the blanket.
So
It's in the blanket with you.
The blanket.
So, I just start
snuggle monster.
I just start naturally kicking something's on my foot, right? Maybe a bug. I don't know. Oh,
And it was a big fish sucking your
shut up, Shane.
Ghost fish.
I looked underneath the covers and I didn't see anything. And then I looked above the covers and I saw nothing. And then I felt it again. And I start like giggling, laughing because now it's like tickling me.
Yeah,
Right?
like really.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so
I
I
don't
looked
like this.
underneath the covers again. I'm like, what is tickling me? And it was this girl named Kirsten, who my mom's current boyfriend at the time had a niece called Kirsten, and she was like really weird. I never put it together how weird she was, but she used to give me bracelets and be like, don't take this off. And she was much older than me. And I was like, Kirsten, what are you doing down there? And she was like, shh.
Wait, oh, she was actually tickling your feet?
She was actually tickling my feet.
Oh, oh my God.
Listen, and I looked above the covers, and the covers were completely flat. And so I freak out, right? I'm like, oh my God. And I run down this hallway. And my mom comes in naturally, like in every scary movie, and is like, there's no one here, Bree. And I'm like, Kirsten was tickling my feet. She's like, Kirsten's on the other side of Dallas, Bree. There's no way.
What?
I never saw her
weird.
again.
Wow, that is real. That's a
Did you take off the bracelet?
Yeah, I actually somewhere.
I haven't taken it off since.
No, I haven't put look at it more of a thing.
The fact that you still have it, though, she's probably tethered to you. That's all I'm saying.
Possible.
I'm already freaked out. Even this topic.
I'm probably going to watch The Conjuring tonight.
I still haven't
Conjuring
seen
is my favorite scary movie.
You haven't seen The Conjuring?
I haven't seen The Conjuring.
Okay, Devon, I probably told you this when we took a horror class. I do not like horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm a bitch. I have a greater appreciation for them now that we've had a class, but The Conjuring is the first horror movie I ever liked.
Really? I've
And it
heard
is,
amazing.
and again, I'm a bitch, and that's one reason I don't like them. It's
Yeah.
absolutely terrifying.
It's so
Wow.
terrifying. It's
And
my.
it has a lot of the tropes that a lot of horror movies has in it,
But it
but
doesn't.
it explains why they work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the trope like that they can't leave. Like, why don't you just move to a different house? Like
Yeah.
they mentioned that. Like, why don't you just move? And like the priest is like, the ghost is attached to you now. You're
Like it
fucked.
doesn't matter where you go. And when she stepped, oh, I can't say that. I'm gonna. Devin, just watch the movie.
I'll watch it for sure. Have you guys seen Hereditary?
Oh,
No.
when I was in a sorority, I used to organize mixers, and I got me and my friend Steven organized a mixer where
Even
we didn't. Yeah, Steven Schuster. We told everybody in our chapters, hey, we're gonna watch a Disney movie.
oh no.
Together. And me and Steven played Hereditary. And this
Oh,
one guy who was in the fraternity threw up and walked out because he got
my
so
God.
scared. People
That-
were crying and screaming, and I just sat there.
And you
knowing-
locked the doors and they couldn't leave.
See, that's like my dad really likes horror movies, so like I've been watching horror movies since I was a little kid. Like my first well, this isn't really a horror movie, but I think Shane, like I've talked to you about, but like I saw Cloverfield in theaters, that was the movie that I saw that like I was just like the idea of like found footage movies just really, I was like, that's the coolest. Like you could make a movie and it could look like it's just being filmed from the perspective of someone with a camera. That's cool. And like I didn't know anything about, I was like 10. So my dad and I saw the movie together, and like that was the movie that made me want to make movies. But I remember after I was like, Dad, that was really cool. He was like, oh, well, there's another movie like that called The Blair Witch Project.
Yep, I knew that's what he was gonna say.
And I was like, it's the same. It's like found footage like that. He was like, yeah, we should definitely watch it. And I remember my mom was like, no, you cannot watch that.
Yeah, don't.
My dad just.
How old were you?
I was-
Cloverfield came out in what? 11?
Cloverfield came out in 2008.
8 is that old? Damn.
So
okay.
I was 10. I was 10 when I saw. So I wasn't that young, but I mean, I was young enough that like that the Blair Witch. I probably shouldn't have watched it yet, but we watched it. I remember my dad got the tape, a videotape from the library, and we watched it on the VHS, like in my living room.
That's the best way to watch a horror movie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it didn't scare me as bad, but like that was really like the first. That was probably the first like real scary movie that I had seen. But ever since then I've been watching. My dad and I. That's like one of the things that we like can bond over. Like we used to watch whenever I'd have to go over his house. He would usually have like a a horror movie like at the ready, like this is
Oh.
what we're gonna watch on Saturday, and I'd be like, okay. all right.
Have you ever seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah, I've at least seen part of it. I don't know. If
I
I've
watched a
towards
scene
the
of that.
clown.
What, Brie?
I said you gravitate towards the clowns.
Well,
Yeah.
that might be a reason I'm afraid of
Really?
clowns. It's because I watched a scene of that when I was like 7.
Oh man.
I remember this guy just being covered in cotton candy and this like alien evil clown laughing, and I immediately like ran in my room.
Is that movie a comedy or is it?
It's a
like
comedy horror.
It's like okay, it's like a mix.
That's the only thing I remember is that scene. I have not seen it since, and I refuse to.
Isn't there an actress like her head is put onto a dog or something? in
Yeah,
the movie?
probably.
Yeah,
That
that
makes sense.
not like something that was in that. I've never seen the whole thing.
I'll tell you what though. One of the because I watched a lot of adult things as a kid. Like I started watching The Simpsons when I was like 5.
Same.
And like I watched a lot of thriller. Like I love Alfred Hitchcock and all that. Like the thriller doesn't scare me either, just horror.
Yeah.
But, a weird movie that scared me, like terrified me as a kid, King Kong,
Oh, like
which is technically a horror movie. Yeah, the original.
the original. Okay.
I finally found out why because of our horror class. Actually, it's the music because it's percussive music, so it goes along with the scene. So like these big drums for King Kong, which like accentuate how large and unnatural he is.
I hate the shot of
terrifying.
King Kong like coming in really close to.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like,
it's terrifying.
like,
I think
horrifying.
just also like that. It's not animation, but like that like footage,
Yeah,
old
we're just,
footage
like-
style thing of monster movies is like it's like really rapid and it's like things should
Yeah.
not move that way.
Definitely. I one of my favorite scenes, like I have a real soft spot for the 2005 King Kong, the Peter Jackson.
It's pretty decent.
I love that movie, and I think I don't like bugs, so the bug pit section of that movie, to this day, I love it. But that's one of I love how bleak that scene is. It's like you literally, and in that moment, probably the first time that you're watching the movie, you're like, is everyone gonna die right now? Like it's so I love the music in that scene, and just like it's really, I find that scene to be really scary, but really well done. Like definitely like something Peter Jackson would do well, you know. But I was watching a video recently where I like Peter Jackson. I think it was Jack Black, because I always forget that Jack Black is in that movie.
Oh, that's one of the things I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I love it. It's such a weird role for him, but he's really good in it. But I remember I watched this
It's kind
video.
of the same role that he has in Jumanji.
Oh yeah. It is kind of
So
similar.
good
For
in
sure.
Jumanji. His
I
act-
love Jumanji. Jumanji's actually like really fucking good.
It's like one of my favorites. Like I'm always on topic of Jumanji.
Yeah. Wait, are you guys talking about the original Jumanji or the?
I'm talking about the Dwayne Johnson one.
Oh yeah.
His movies are hit or miss, but that one,
I like the original Jumanji, but yeah,
of course.
The next level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I think
seen
the first
Next
one's better,
Level yet.
but
I do too.
next level's still good.
Is it still good? I'm probably gonna watch it at some point. I've had so much time to watch movies while
Yeah.
we've been stuck.
I won't say
inside.
too much, but
I've watched probably way too many movies, but last night I watched Meatballs. I don't know if you guys.
I keep hearing that title. Why? I've heard it like 3 times today.
It's on.
Today.
Yeah.
The people.
One of them
YouTube
my-
videos.
You guys are the first people I've talked to, and I
I'm
don't
just
know-
like watching YouTube videos of people I'm subscribed to just gaming, and they keep mentioning this movie. I don't know why.
I just saw it was on Amazon Prime, free to watch, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna check this out because I have nothing else going on. So I put it on. It's terrible, but they have like this so 80s theme song, and it's like meatballs, and it's like meatballs, and I was like, this sucks. And then like later, I was trying to sleep. In my head, I just kept going, meatballs. Gotta be a meatball. And I was like, oh my god, I can't sleep. I can't get this stupid song out of my head. It was not a good movie though, but it's Bill Murray. I mean, like when he was
okay.
like, you know, when he was probably still on SNL at that point, maybe, or fresh.
That's
off.
one reason, because one of the people I was watching, they were talking about Bill Murray movies.
Yeah, I love Bill Murray. I feel like he's. I like the parts that he plays more as he gets older.
Oh yeah.
Like I really like his. He's always like when he was in movies in like the 80s, he was always so hyper and like he played such crazy characters, but now it seems like he plays characters that are just so sarcastic and just like pessimistic. I don't know. There's something very relatable about like a lot of the characters he plays now, but yeah. Well,
Have you seen The Witch?
yes, yeah. That was
So
that was good.
We don't get too many period horror films. Like whenever its period's typically like 70s for some reason.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
something that's like that far.
you know what horror movie like freaked me out as a kid? That one where the little kid could see dead people.
I see dead
Sixth
people.
Sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
My
I
mom
don't
didn't
either.
watch it, and I like was watching it from the stairs the entire time when I told her I went to bed
Uh,
when I was little. Next thing you know, I've been scared ever
Yeah.
since. I still think there's people with like fucking axes in the side of their heads walking by me.
Yeah, that's like I think for me, I can watch it I've seen so many horror movies that it takes a decent amount to really freak me out. But every once in a while there'll be a horror movie that'll really get to me. Like I'm trying to think of examples, but Hereditary really like that one freaked me out pretty. I mean, it didn't like keep me up at night, but I just thought I thought I thought it was what a horror movie should feel like, I guess. And I've never seen The Conjuring, so I feel like maybe they
watch The Conjuring tonight.
Is it
Yeah,
is it on
tonight.
Netflix or is it like
I
It's,
think
well, it's on Netflix last I checked, and that was a couple months ago.
okay?
Yeah.
I'll check. If
I
it's
still-
on there, I'll.
Every couple months, I still remember a scene from The Conjuring, and I won't be able to sleep for a few months. For
Really?
a few months, for a while.
What scene are you
Bree,
seeing?
you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with the.
Oh
That-
yeah,
Isn't that in the trailer though?
Yeah, but you don't know the context, and the context is
God.
what's scary.
If it's on there, I'll watch it. I will watch it tonight. I was gonna say, have you guys seen Insidious, like the first one?
oh my god.
No, I refused when that came out because that was back before I watched The Conjuring,
That's
so I wasn't. into
scary.
horror.
That movie really, that was one of those movies that like my dad was like, we're gonna watch this on Saturday night, and I remember he turned off all the lights. He was like, we gotta watch this with all the lights off. I was like, okay,
No.
all right. And that one
Never good.
really,
That movie's such about like a son too. So like,
yeah, I love some of the stuff that they did in that movie when he's got the camera and those people like they go for like just like a snap image of them smiling. I was like, oh, like that really freaked me out.
what I love about that movie because I remember when it came out, I saw like a bunch of scenes on YouTube and stuff because I haven't seen it, but there's a lot of things like hidden throughout the movie,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, that's absolutely terrifying.
That one thing that got me was the devil.
Yes. That
That-
guy is so scary.
Same. I can't to this day. Like I never see it coming. I'm never prepared for it. I will never be prepared for it. Like it's so scary.
You talking about that shot where he's like behind her?
The very
Yes.
famous shot, yeah.
That
Yes.
scared me so bad. I mean, it still scares me every time.
I
Mhm.
saw this movie called The Amityville Horror, not the original,
Oh,
a
I've seen
remake
that too.
from 2007.
With Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it. The reviews weren't
Ryan
good.
Reynolds.
Did you see it, Devon?
I haven't seen it. No, but I
There's
think
one-
I watched it. It was on AMC when they do like the horror movie marathon. I
Yeah.
watched maybe part of it.
I believe
liked it a
that's
lot.
on Netflix too.
It probably is.
Probably.
The reviews weren't too good, sadly. But
Yeah.
there was one thing that I really appreciated. Horror movies, there's always like the first scare, but it's not actually a scare. It's like, oh, it's just a teapot. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
It's that kind of thing. The first scare in that movie is a genuine scare.
Oh wow.
It's like the first 5 minutes, like it's the first night they're sleeping in this new house, and this kid like just goes to the bathroom to like just get a drink of water. In the mirror, there's a fucking demon behind him with a stitched up mouth.
Oh my god.
Like they're building it up, and I'm just like the whole thing, like, oh, it's just the first scare of the movie. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be holy shit.
I don't
It
remember
really
that
got
at
me.
all.
I can definitely. I don't like when I think horror movies lose me when it's obvious that they're messing with the audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm,
When
mhm.
when they're throwing things at you that you're like it's like if you're gonna try and scare me, just fucking scare me. I want you
Tell
like,
a good story, and that will get me hooked into
yeah,
it.
tell a good story, make me care about the characters, and make the scares make sense. And that
Yeah.
and usually
That's what drives me bonkers. Is a lot of horror movies just try to scare you. They go for the shock factor rather than making
Yeah, that's
sense.
like-
So
I think-
you're kind of taken out of it.
yeah.
I think a big thing with it is maybe it's just because we're all like film buffs, whatever, or maybe it's because we know how to make a film. But like every time I watch a scary movie now, if I hear that music, like I'm instantly like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the music. The music gets me.
because like people who don't know how to make a film or like what it takes to get scared
Right.
don't know that this music is the cue that this something scary is about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
hate
what
though
it
when
gets-
it's like a really like stock sound file.
Yeah,
Like,
what
that's
gets
so
me is
much.
stuff like Hereditary or
Yeah.
The Conjuring, where they don't have that music,
Right.
and then they throw you with that shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's-
Or there's like a subtle sound effect in the background. You're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, they're gonna show what that sound is.
The
They do that in The Conjuring a lot with like the sound of that rope.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh, wait.
you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not saying
I
it.
haven't
Devin's
seen,
watching
I
it
haven't
tonight.
seen The Conjuring. I don't know why I said oh. I mixed up what movie.
I was gonna let it slide.
Oh, like I knew what you were talking about, but I haven't seen it.
You're like, yeah.
But I think I was thinking of another movie, but I was gonna say The Shining does music really well because they'll have these moments.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, because he'll have these moments where there's like a scare will happen, but there's no music at all.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing indicating that a scare is coming. So, or sometimes he'll have music building up, and then there will be no scare at all. So you're like, like subconsciously you're starting to go, wait, you're getting confused subconsciously by going like, wait, my brain is telling me that this song is suggesting that a scare is coming, but there wasn't one. And then like there's no music, and then a scare will happen, and you're like, wait, that doesn't add up in my head. That's not how. That's not.
That was a really good film. He did a really good job of psychologically messing everybody up who watched that film.
I love.
I think
that.
a really underrated part of that is the bathroom scene. Not the one with the waiter, the guy, but with the woman in the bathtub.
Yeah, that is so
terrifying.
One of my favorite shots in that movie, and it may just, I mean, you guys know me well enough to know my sense of humor, but I mean, it is creepy, but one of my favorite shots in that movie is the guy in the bear.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
And he just goes like I think it's scary, but there's something like inherently comical about it to me, but that just is probably because
apparently in the book, which I haven't read, there's a lot more, and all that is explained. Like that's all like lore of other people that were in a hotel.
Did you guys see the sequel that they just came out with?
No, I heard from some people it's really good. I heard from some people it's really bad.
What did you
think? It was like 2.5 hours, I believe, but it was like really good. It was super good. I was never into like the fandom of that, you know. Like I watched The Shining obviously when I was younger, but like I just thought that's it, you know.
Yeah.
But I saw this and I'm like I was so into it. Like it had my attention the entire time because you're always trying to like fit these puzzle pieces together, and every time you think it's something, it's not. And I highly recommend it, honestly.
I remember seeing the bit of the trailer with the elevator and all the blood.
Yeah.
I remember I remember seeing a trailer a long time ago, like 6 years ago, of that same exact thing. And it was called Room 237. So which is the room in The Shining. So I'm willing to bet that movie's been in production for a while, and that was like one of the first things they did to make money to actually start filming it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Or just pure coincidence. But
Ewan McGregor is just I love his.
Is he in that?
And he's the main. He plays Danny in Doctor Sleep. Like an
adult hell yeah!
Danny. So that was like the main selling point of that movie for me. Was I was like, oh, if it's Ewan McGregor, it can't be that bad. Like I mean, he's always good. But I heard it was good. So I was like,
so good.
I didn't go see it because I thought I was so concerned that it was just going to be not good, and I didn't want to.
I'm not going to go to the theaters unless I am pretty sure it's going to be good because it's just so expensive now.
Exactly. I also I find that like horror movies, I never pay attention to the reviews of horror movies. I do it with I pay attention to reviews of some movies, but horror movies, critics are always like, it sucked. Like I'm like, you say that about every horror. Like if you don't go to a horror movie as a critic, I mean I know that's how they make money, but like. Don't go to a horror movie as a critic if you're just gonna go, yeah, I don't like horror movies and it sucked. I don't like it. Like they're just so whiny about horror movies all the time.
Welcome to critics.
Yeah, yeah.
Horror movie critics are like, how can you be a critic on something that you're not scared of? I feel like scary movies are so subjective to like things you're actually scared of. Like I would never go see a clown movie and expect to get scared because I'm not scared of clowns. Whereas if I gave a ticket to Shane, he'd get scary, right?
I probably would not go see it.
Exactly.
Wait, Shane, have you seen either of the It movies, or can you?
I watched the original. I actually really like the original.
I've never seen.
I didn't watch the new one because it came out during school, both of them, and I don't have time during school. And also, I just love the original so much, so like I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
never saw It Chapter 2, but I saw the first one in theaters, and
it's not the first one. It's not like the most scary film I've seen. I'm mostly scared of just the visual of Tim Curry, which is part of it, but like pretty much everything else is like it's 80s horror, you know.
I think
have a great effect on me anymore.
I can't say I haven't seen the original one, but I think that I wish a lot of people talked up the newer one. I didn't see chapter 2, but like the first chapter, everyone talked it up so much, and like I thought Bill Skarsgård did a really good. Or wait, is it? Yeah, it's Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
I thought he did such a good job as Pennywise. Like he is great as
He
Pennywise.
did. They're very different, which is expected.
Right.
I don't want it to be the same if
And
you're going to be doing it.
I mean, that is definitely like the best part. I just thought that like a lot of people said like, and the story was good too, and I'm like, but I didn't like.
I just don't care about the story.
Yeah, I just didn't really like any of the kids.
Stephen King's iffy for me. Sometimes Stephen King has a really good story, like Dark Tower, all great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's really lacking. It's like I don't care. You just shout this out for money, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
just
Not saying that was it, but
right.
It chapter 2 easily explained, and my version of it, because I did see it. It feels like a scary movie where they're trying to scare you, and it gets to a point where it's like dragging on, and it's like
It's almost 3 hours long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's long, and it's like
who directed it?
I haven't been.
Same guy that did the first one. I can't remember his name. Andy something, or like something like Andy Muschietti or something.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
He's
but
a cool
it just
dude.
drags on way too long. And it's like these scenes aren't connecting. It was like a troubled towards the end, trying to figure out. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. So if you guys want,
I'll check it out eventually.
I probably won't. Just being
I'll watch
honest.
it like when it's free, but I'll never pay. There's no way I'll pay. Like I'm not gonna pay to watch it. That's why I didn't go see it in theaters. I was like, nah.
The
I don't
first
know
one
why
was better.
movies are making another resurgence again, like getting longer. I've
Yeah.
noticed, at least the
I haven't-
blockbusters, and it's getting really annoying because I like long movies. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these movies don't have to be so long.
Right.
Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I could have cut an hour out of that.
Yeah, that was a good movie, but I just think Tarantino has gotten so like,
All of himself.
yeah, he
You
knows.
could say that
that-
about every great director, but Tarantino, Kurosawa, those are the two on my mind right now. But
yeah,
a lot of them, they just like once they become so prolific, their movies start breaking the 3-hour marker, and they don't cut down. It's really
Right.
fucking annoying.
and there were just things. I think that there were scenes in like I think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood I think it could work as being that long of a movie, but there were just some scenes that went on for so long that I was like, I feel like you could have been doing other things in these moments of this movie that would have been way more interesting than this. And you could have kept the length if you wanted to be that long, but fill it up with stuff that I actually like want to watch. Like that I'm like, not that I'm like, when is this scene going to be over? I can't wait for the scene to end. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I think Tarantino needs to like, I don't know, keep himself in check sometimes. But I don't know. I think like an out, like I think if a movie's longer than 2 hours for me, it starts to lose me. Like I can't focus on it anymore.
I'm with you. It's got to be really, really fucking good. Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Definitely.
I use the extended edition movies like a fucking Bible.
I've never seen any of the extended edition one. Are they like 4 hours long each?
Yeah. The first one I think is 3.5, but the other two are 4. It doesn't like I'm glad that the theatrical release, which is only 3 hours, that suffice.
Yeah.
But basically, what's in the extended edition is just a little bit more flavor text, not essential to the story, but it helps.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, I definitely, those movies, I haven't watched those in a really long time, but I used to watch them. If they're ever on TV, I watch them. And like, but yeah, my mom and I used to like have marathons of all the Lord of the Rings movies when I was younger. And yeah, they still hold up. They're so good.
So fucking good.
Most of them.
And also, somewhat fantasy related, Avatar: The Last Airbender is being added onto Netflix.
I have
so
never
excited.
I've never watched a full episode of that show.
You haven't?
No, I've never watched. I couldn't get into it as a kid, but maybe I could now.
Devon, it is some of the greatest storytelling I've
Really?
ever witnessed. Yes.
Listen, I got the whole series, and I still can't get into it. I've tried
Really?
to watch it as a kid.
I don't
Have
know.
you tried recently?
No.
I think the beginning's hard to get into.
Recently.
The beginning is a little bit hard because it's a little slow, but like once
That's
you
what
like
I
start
remember.
understanding the characters, it's just really good character arcs.
That's what I remember from being a kid and watching it. Is that being that like I couldn't focus on it because it was a little too slow for me.
Yeah.
But I never thought it was
It picks
bad.
up really
I just
quickly.
I never thought it was bad. I just was always kind of like, I just have a short attention span. So
it's really respectful of its influences. And also, I think the storytelling is just really natural because a lot of it, they're just cutting and running with it as it goes. Like, kind of like as we've been learning how to write, Devon.
oh yeah,
That same style. Because the people who made Avatar made Invader Zim. I don't know if you heard any of this. Invader Zim got canceled, and they had nothing to do, so they made the pilot for Avatar, just without any story in mind of down the road. They're just like, all right, here's what we got, and the studio's like, yeah, this is fucking great. Keep going.
I have found like that is. I'm trying to write that way all the time now, because like
it's helpful.
It's really like, because I always like I always kind of did that with the Beast movies, like subconsciously. I didn't realize that I was doing it, but then I really started doing it like actively with A Real Respectable Living, and I know that with the delivery and stuff, like we've been kind of just going for it, which is really like, it's really freeing, because like I don't know, I've been rereading some of the stuff that I wrote for Respectable Living and just being like, this is insane. I don't even know how I would film this, but I like it. But yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I implore you to give it another try. I was just crying yesterday watching some scenes from it.
When it's on Netflix,
there's like there's a lot of great emotional things to it.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely check it out for sure. Yeah, as long as pretty much I'll watch anything if I can watch it for free. Like if it's there, I'm like, all right. Which reminds me too, I think I mentioned it to you, Shane, but there's a cartoon on Netflix now called The Midnight Gospel.
I've had 5 people recommend it to me, and I have not watched it yet.
I think it's really interesting, because it's like it's a cartoon, but I'm pretty sure it's by the same guy that made Adventure Time. So it's like it's got that animation style to it, like a similar animation style. But I'm pretty sure that it's like they're just taking a podcast and like animating around it. I don't really know what the writing process would be for that show, because there's some stuff that happens that's like part of a storyline, but or like I don't know. Every episode he like basically puts himself into this simulation thing and can send himself to other planets in like the bodies of avatars, and like he finds people on each planet and he's like, hey, you want to be on my space podcast, and like, or my space cast or something, and like he just has a conversation with all these different characters. But it's really interesting because like as they're talking, they're just like usually just walking or journeying through the world, and there's things going on around them that are like sometimes weird, sometimes like they'll get into a fight, or like it's crazy. It's so crazy, but it's really interesting. Some of the stuff that they talk about is interesting. I can only watch
like on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's I think it's been up for like a week or so, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm like halfway through. I can only watch one episode at a time because there's so much information to take in. Like that, like they're talking about really interesting stuff, but it's like my brain hurts after like the episode. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it to. I mean, it's kind of relaxing, but it gets you thinking, like which is what I can appreciate about it. Like it's interesting conversation, but yeah, it's weird. It's a weird cartoon, but I'm enjoying
Wayne
it.
Battle actually recommended another one of those like animated series. He said it's like his favorite, and so I checked it out. You guys should too. It's right. It's like good sense of humor and stuff like that. It's called, I forget, but it's something about like amongst the garden wall or something like that.
Over the garden wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've seen a couple scenes.
I watched that with I watched that whole thing, the whole show one night with it was like when Clay and I were first becoming friends. It was me and Clay and Austin, like invited us into his room, and we watched the whole series like in one night.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I could totally see Dwayne getting into that.
I feel like Dwayne would watch it and be like, I like that. That's great. Yeah.
He did. He was talking about it like an entire class period.
Really?
He's like, you guys got to check it out. He does this thing. This one kid. He's like, he's like, what was that thing that guy, the little boy said? Is something about like candy. Like
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Where it's like, I don't know. It's like you fit candy something, and he's like, you I don't even remember what it was, but it was so stupid when Dwayne said it. And he was like, and it was the coolest thing, and we're all like, what is he on?
I miss my boy Dwayne.
Me too. I remember when I was the last time I talked to Dwayne in person, I went to his office to show him what I had done of Remember the Beast so far. Like I had like 40
How far were
minutes,
you so far?
like 40 minutes, I think, at that point. It was like it was the last thing. I think when I showed it to him, it was like a couple days before spring break, and then of course I didn't know at the time that we were not going to return to campus. But I showed him what we had. I think the last thing that we had was the last thing that was done was you disappearing with the crystal. That was at that point. That was
Gotcha.
that was the last thing that was there. So like, but I remember, I mentioned to Dwayne that I was going for like the time realm. I wanted to go for like a really kind of cheesy, sort of cheesy 80s look. And he was like, oh, I got a website for you. And he just like, he pulled up some website that was just all bad 80s TV shows. He was like, they got the old Power Rangers episodes on here. And like, he was just like showing me all these, and he was clicking on them. And we watched through like half of an episode of Power Rangers.
Are you serious?
Yeah, or no, maybe it wasn't Power Rangers. It was some old, really weird old show, but it had terrible special effects. But he was laughing so hard. He was laughing his ass off at like some of the stuff that was like happening. And then he was like, eventually, like halfway through, he was like, all right, I got a class to teach in like 20 minutes. I should probably go. I was like, yeah, I should probably.
It's like class started 10 minutes ago. I should go.
I should probably leave. Yeah, but it was, yeah, that was fun.
I remember I didn't have Dwayne's class with you, did I?
I don't, no, we didn't have it together, but I was in your movie for Dwayne's class, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to watch the old 1970s Fantastic Four movie?
No. Wait, that's
it's so terrible.
No, that's what he pulled. That's what it was. That's what he had me watch.
Are you
When I
serious?
was with, I'm pretty sure
It's
that's
so
what it was.
bad.
He showed me.
There's like one part where I haven't read Marvel in so long because I don't like it. But Mr. Fantastic, is that his name? Rubber guy.
Yeah, the stretchy guy.
But it's like a camera that's following his fist as it travels around the room.
That's what he showed me. He showed me the trailer, I think, for that Fantastic.
The worst part
Four.
is they build up this whole boss fight with Doctor Doom. They get to the scene. It's so dark you can't see him, and he gives the villain monologue for 10 minutes.
Oh my god!
But they didn't like dub him over or anything, so it's literally just his voice through the mask, and you can't understand anything for 10 minutes. You can't understand or see anything for 10 minutes of this movie.
That's terrible.
It's atrocious.
God. Well, my laptop is starting to run low on battery, so we might want to start closing it up. But did you guys have any other topics? Anything else that you'd like to briefly talk about before? No. All right. See ya. No. No. I guess. Yeah. But well, I already I said this at the beginning, but I appreciate you both. It's been a pleasure working on the Beast with you guys and stuff. I wish that it could have ended under better circumstances. I wish we could have like actually finished that. But the biggest thing, I'm really sad about missing out on that dance number. That would have been my voice.
I know.
But that dance number, that would have been the highlight.
I was so hyped. They were gonna have so many extras. So many people were ready to do it.
Yeah, that's like my biggest. I mean, like I feel like I figured it out decently well considering the circumstances. I'm glad it got finished at all, but because there was a period where I was like, yeah, there's no way this is gonna get done. I was really worried that it just wasn't gonna happen. But
we could have done something like I think it's Hot American Summer, one of their movies. They do like a prequel movie of like 20 years.
I watched it.
And it's like they're obviously way older, and they're like, yeah, it's 20 years ago.
Yeah, that movie is. Have you seen the original Wet Hot American Summer?
I watched that one recently. I watched that one sophomore year. The other ones I haven't seen in a very long time.
I thought that movie was actually really funny. Like
it's pretty funny.
I didn't expect to think it was it, but it had like Naked Gun humor in some parts of it, like, and which is not what I was expecting. I thought it was like a stupid summer camp movie. Like I thought it was just gonna be
because it was the 2000s, yeah.
Right, because I thought it was going to be one of those movies where you're like, oh my god, this is so dumb. But I was really pleasantly surprised by the humor of it. And what do they, every time they like throw something off screen, they use the same pot smashing sound effect. Like they'll throw something. It doesn't matter what's going on, like what the context is for the scene. If anything off screen happens, they use the same pot smashing sound. Like at first I wasn't picking up on it, but as the movie was going on,
It takes a few times.
Yeah, I was like, that's funny. I like that.
The following
Yeah,
There's an
had limited things to work
old-ish
with.
movie. Yeah. He only had these 7 identical pots.
Yeah, he only had the same 2 pots that he banged together.
Like I guess this will happen.
There's this movie, and I can't think of the title, and Sam's gonna be mad at me because I know he likes the movie, but it's like it stars, I think it's from the 90s or 80s, probably the 80s. I think it's called Black Dynamite, but I don't know. But it's this black guy. It's an action comedy. And I just remember this one scene, like way early in the movie, like 10 minutes in the movie. He's like some briefcase, and I haven't seen the movie. I'm just going off of what Sam told me. But like 10 minutes in the movie, he throws this briefcase out of frame, and we never see it. Then like an hour later, this guy's just walking in a briefcase, fucking hits him, and Black Dynamite comes in, and he's like, "I threw that shit before I walked in the room."
That's funny. I love that kind of stuff. That like a joke that takes a really long time to like resolve is always funny to me. That like, especially when it's done well. I think that's like, I don't know. It always makes me laugh.
Almost like the scene when Adam came up the stairs and we had to wait. Me and Shane had to wait for him to go fucker. It's like you could hear him.
I'm glad Adam was there.
That was funny. Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. It makes me laugh every single time. Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this during the lore podcast, but for those watching, Adam was in tech for a show at that point.
Yeah.
We needed someone. She was just walking backstage. I'm like, "Hey, come up. You got 10 minutes free."
Was it in this? It was
lines.
Was it in the script that
Yeah,
somebody?
he was going over his lines and for Judas.
But was it in the? I can't remember if it was in the script that somebody. Did we add somebody coming up the stairs?
No, it was. We tried to remove it. Then we realized how important it was because it changes my motive in the scene. We're like, fuck, we can't cut that.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
We cut that because we were changing locations to somewhere more secluded. And like, fuck, it doesn't work.
Yeah, okay, I do remember that. Yeah, I was thinking the other night. I was trying to remember, Bree. How do you remember how you came to be involved in the second Beast movie?
Oh yeah, I totally remember. I was doing laundry and Shane messaged me on Snapchat and said you guys needed a lead, like Shauna.
That's right.
And you got me, you and Clay met up.
That's because I had a vague memory of meeting. I was like, that happened, right? Didn't we met? Because I remember Shane said because I said I remember I think I told Shane that we were having trouble finding someone to play Shauna. And I think Shane was like, "Oh, I got somebody.
I got somebody."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Yeah. And I remember talking to Clay beforehand, like before we met. I think before we met up with you, and I was like, I really hope that if she understands our sense of humor, we're golden. This will work out. And I remember, I think you like we were saying something. We had a conversation where I was like. At the end of the conversation, I was like, "Oh yeah, she gets it. She gets it. So this will work out well." But yeah, I forget where I was going with that.
I'm glad. I was a little unsure if you would get it, Bree.
I was very concerned,
hopeful,
like, because I don't know my limits with people when like I meet them, like what is okay to say and what is not. Because I'm kind of one of those. I'll just say whatever's on my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it like pops up when it happens.
Right.
And I was like, oh God, I hope they don't think I'm like, real weird or whatever. And then we just all started bantering with each other. Like, this is gonna work.
I think Clay and I going into it were like, I think both of us were like, I hope. I told him, I was like, I hope she doesn't think we're complete psychopaths. But I'm always like, I'm always the same kind of like I'm always trying to figure out whenever I meet somebody new. I'm always like, well, if I make this joke now, will they understand it? And or will like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm always
when
waiting.
in doubt, sing it out with the Hex Girls.
It's a Hex Girl. Yeah, that always usually breaks the ice pretty well.
You know what we never talked about? I don't think anybody who has seen Remember the Beast even knows this, but that scene that we recorded when you and Clay bit into that onion was like
God.
It was not in the script.
Not at all.
It was just
I
completely.
didn't know this until like a couple weeks ago.
And I remember being in that scene and being like, oh my God, like, do I just keep going with this? Like, he just bit into this onion.
Well, because I remember, like, I was trying I was trying not to look at you because I was going to start laughing, but it was hard because I was also going to start laughing if I was looking at Clay. So I didn't know where to look, but like I know it's funny because in the scene you said this, but I can also see it. Like you said that you could see like the wheel spinning in my head of me trying to decide.
You can see it in both you and Clay.
Yeah, like
you can see Clay about to like just peel it.
Yeah, I wonder how long Clay was like, I gotta bite the onion at the end of this scene. But I remember Bree, you saying that like you could see both of us trying to decide if we should bite the onion or not. And when I watch that scene over again, and when I look at my face, I can see myself going, should I bite it? I made like a split second. I was like, I gotta bite it too.
How gross was it?
Oh, it was disgusting.
It was so gross. The entire room smelled for like so long.
Oh,
there's also onion. There's also.
Did you cry?
Did I cry?
Yeah.
For unrelated reasons, yeah, but not because of no. But no, yeah, I didn't cry, but it tasted disgusting. I mean, it was just I wanted to spit it out, but I don't remember if I spit it out or not.
You spit it out. You spit it out afterwards. You said,
couldn't-
"Oh God."
It was so.
I'm picturing you didn't have a trash can. You just did a spit take of onion.
I spit it on the play. I never took the time to like sweep that room at the end of the semester either. So there was just onion flakes on the floor.
Well, you got a carpet in there.
I know. I just
harder.
was like, you know what? They're making us move out early, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's on Dad. Yeah.
And then at the end of that same day we filmed, we were all talking about Clay starts passing this hand sanitizer around, and me and Devon did not know what was going on in the world at this time. Like we had no idea. And Clay was like, "You guys want some hand sanitizer?" And naturally, me and Devon were like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll take some hand sanitizer." What? He was like, "You guys all need to get hand sanitizer. There's this thing called the coronavirus. Some guy had it on a plane in Cleveland."
Never heard of it.
Freaked me out. And me and Devon were like, I've never heard of that. Honestly, what's up with that? I've heard it.
I still am not taking hand sanitizer. I think it's fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah, I don't love it, but
I go to eat later, like 10 hours later, and I still taste it on my hands.
Yeah, I just wash my hands really frequently. Like, but I also haven't really been doing any I haven't really been going out anywhere. So I mean, I still wash my hands, but you know, I haven't gone out, so I don't see the need to wash my hands.
No, I gotta go with my method here. I haven't showered in like 5 weeks. Build a layer of grime. It's like a shield.
Yeah, it protects you. The virus goes, ugh. I don't want to mess with this guy.
Everybody else.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, I finally have my job. Like for a little while, I kind of sort of lost my job at Aladdin's, but it was just because they didn't need a dishwasher when nobody can dine in. But like now so there was like I think I mentioned this to Shane, but there was like a period of like 4 weeks where I showered, but like I did nothing. Like every day I woke up and I was just like,
you just sat in an empty room and stared at the wall.
I didn't do any talking about me so heavily. Like I'm right here.
I didn't do any schoolwork. I was so behind. I remember we got an email I'm in color theory, and he was posting stuff on Blackboard, and he was like, I knew this email was to everyone, but I'm pretty sure it was directed at me because I didn't for like 4 weeks, I didn't open anything that he posted on Blackboard because I was like, I'll do this another time. And his email was like, I just want you guys to know that I can see what you guys have opened and how much watched.
How do they know that?
I don't know, but I don't know.
It shows you. Did you guys not know that? That's been a thing forever.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that until Steve.
Yeah, they can see. They can see if you opened it and when.
That's not good. That's not
know
good.
That. I was like, oh fuck, and I immediately went and watched every single video that he posted in an hour and a half span of time. I watched every single one, so he couldn't. So I was like, hey, I watched him, Steve. I watched your videos.
Not me.
But,
that's crazy though. I can't believe professors can do that. I kind of feel like that's an invasion of privacy kind of thing. Like,
not really, it's for the class.
Well, yeah, but like I've had another friend tell me that they can see what emails you open and everything, and really? Can tell if you've even logged on to Blackboard.
Yeah,
the school can tell if you're on Blackboard. I doubt they can read your emails.
I mean, that's what somebody told me, and I was like,
it's a private university. They can do whatever they want, as much as I hate it.
They wouldn't find anything very interesting in my emails. They would go, this guy's boring.
They would find the script of
the delivery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or yours.
Well, download it.
Which I just blanked on the name of your script.
Real respectable living.
Living.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I should probably sign off because my laptop's going to run out of batteries. I don't want to lose the video file of this, but thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, where's my IMBD credit?
I've got it right here.
Oh, thanks.
So,
I don't think I can see it. Maybe my camera's like foggy.
right
Gotta
here.
fix your glasses.
There's a part. Sorry, this totally. I never picked up on it until I was editing. But when Clay just takes off his glasses when I think when the mouth is talking.
Oh yeah,
Someone's
he totally
talking,
does that.
he just goes and wipes his glasses off, and it's so it's so loud. It just I didn't notice it while we were filming, but it just happens right in the middle of the scene. It makes me laugh every time. But
What makes me laugh is when you grab those chips when they're talking, and you and Clay are doing all these miscellaneous things behind
the
them.
rock paper scissors.
Yeah, and then you grab the chips, and you're like,
Well, he's not really our friend. Yeah, more of an acquaintance. Yeah, that I like that part.
it's
Yeah,
really
that for what we had to what we ended up doing for the end, I think it worked out pretty well considering the circumstances. But all right, I keep saying it's over, and then I keep starting new conversations. But
This part is over. That's a nice way to quote.
well, yeah, thank you guys. We should definitely do this again. We don't always have to record it. We could also just talk on here. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been fun. I'll hopefully I know we'll all see each other again one day soon for sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So
Why'd say
you
it
should
like
insert.
that, Jane? That's so sad. Don't say it like that. You said hopefully.
Hopefully. Maybe.
So right now you should insert the morning sound effects.
Yeah,
of
that's a
the
good call. I'll find, I
the
wonder.
shaman waking up.
Yeah, I wonder if I could find. Yeah, you could hear him. You could hear his alarm go off, and he goes. Ah. There really is the people across the street from me. I'm gonna stop the recording. Thanks for watching / listening, everyone. See you in the next episode. Boop.